Good morning, everybody. We are here today, joined by Mitch Olsen, who's going to be fighting on August 14th,
August 11th.
August 11th, my bad, for the Steelfist 185-pound title. Is that correct? Awesome.
Right, middleweight.
Cool. All right. So, super happy to have you joining us here. And yeah, we're going to start off pretty a long time ago, starting at the very beginning. I kind of seen a little bit about your weight loss journey. So, what was your upbringing like, and how'd you end up getting into combat sports and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I'm from a sports heavy family. My a lot of my family's gone on to play in the NFL. So that was kind of always the dream, was playing the NFL, and that in our family we're offensive linemen, and so that starts with wrestling. We believe that wrestling's the best background for all sports, not just combat sports, and that includes football. So I started wrestling around 5 years old. I was always the big kid. I was you know wrestling at 185 in middle school. Um, just kept on wrestling all the way through high school. Eventually, football became the dream. I had a couple offers to wrestle in college. I chose to go play football at Utah State instead. Um, didn't last too long. Like I said, I was an offensive lineman, but I'm pretty short and pretty slow. I'm only about 6 foot tall. So the guys I was going against are 6'5", 6'6". But I was able to keep up with them strength-wise because of my wrestling background. And after football, I just decided I wanted to get into martial arts again, get back to my roots in wrestling. That led me to getting into MMA.
Awesome. Okay. So, your whole family having kind of a sports background, you've kind of been surrounded by it your whole life. Are they pretty accepting and happy with you doing MMA, or do they have some reservations about it?
So my family, like I said, we're a football family. My dad and mom were both professional opera singers. They didn't quite take on to sports. But the rest of my family was all very football and wrestling heavy. My uncle's been involved in mixed martial arts world in Utah for a while, so he was a little hesitant to see me get into it, just because he was more involved during the early days of MMA. Those early to late 2000s, when it was a little bit shadier. Not quite as organized, not quite as contained as MMA is today. Especially, they didn't have an amateur division, which is great to compete in, get my feet wet. Overall, I'd say they're supportive now. They were a little hesitant before, but after you get one knockout, they calm down a little bit about it. Know that you're not going to get hurt too bad, or you at least can defend yourself.
Yeah, awesome. And then, have you been with Cache Valley MMA throughout the duration of your career?
Yeah, yeah. I wrestled in Melba High School. I had great coaches there, and then after I came up to Logan, played football at Utah State. Washed out, was not that good, and just immediately, pretty much about a week and a half after I washed out of football, I went to Kofi at Cache Valley MMA and told him, hey, I want to fight as a heavyweight. I was around 340, so I'd had to cut down to 260 to fight at heavyweight. And he supported it. But then I decided to really get crazy about getting down to weight. I decided if I wanted to actually do this, I should do it right. I should do it at middleweight, because that's what my build is actually, more suited towards. I think middleweights are basically just heavyweights that know how to diet correctly. You get a few 6'5", 6'6" heavyweights, but those guys are all in the UFC or playing football and making money, getting scholarships. So I decided to really cut down, get to middleweight, and then go back to the gym. And I went back to the gym when I got down to around 220. And then that's when I started to really take it serious. Spent a year solid training, had my debut. I've been with them since.
Awesome. So talk us about getting into that first fight. How were your nerves and stuff like that? Were you expecting to try and stand up and strike with him the whole entire time, or were you hoping to rely a little bit more on your wrestling for that?
Yeah, Kofi, he's a straight shooter, especially with me. He told me, look, man, your striking's terrible. You're not going to be able to stand up no matter how bad this guy is. You got to wrestle him. So that's what I did. I took him down. It was my first fight, so I had a ton of nerves coming in. So I eventually got called for, I think it was illegal blows to the back of the head. Stood us back up, and I was able to land a lucky shot, get the knockout. Um, but yeah, it was very much I was going in to wrestle the guy for 3 rounds.
Okay, yeah. And then we actually just saw in your last fight, I believe your opponent was a former Division One college wrestler, and you're able to out
Yep.
wrestle him and maintain control throughout the whole entire time. That's is that something that you guys practice a lot? I'm in Cache Valley. I know they've got Sam Meadow over there who's got really good ground game, and Adam Easley as well. Is that kind of your guys' bread and butter over at your team? Is your wrestling there?
I'd say I'd say Kofi's biggest strength is his wrestling, and the way that the coach goes, everyone kind of follows. Um, Kofi can strike like anyone, but his wrestling is elite, and working in a room where you're looking up to someone's wrestling, eventually you get kind of a wrestling base. Um, like I said, I trained with dogs. Like you said, Sam Medill, Adam Easley, Eusebio Salas, Shaden Polson, who's a crazy, crazy athlete. Um, Now Mauro Gutierrez is in. So a lot of great striking coming out of Cache Valley, but also we have that great wrestling base. Uh, I feel like wrestling, it just gives you the opportunity to decide where the fight's going to be. If I'm going to beat you up on your feet and I've got better wrestling, then I can stand on my feet. If I'm going to get you on the ground and beat you, then I'm going to get you to the ground.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Wrestling is definitely very important. My first fight, I didn't have any wrestling and got laid on the whole time, so not very fun. But yeah, having that wrestling background is great. So, I mean, you named a few guys, but are there any other guys that we should be watching out for on the amateur scene coming from Cache Valley that you can think of?
There's like I said, Mauro Gutierrez. He's leaving amateur soon. He's a dog. He's one of the best strikers I've ever seen. He's 145 pounds. There's a guy I'm hoping we see him come into fight. His name is York Ash. He's a lightweight guy. He's real small, but he's a he's built like a fire hydrant. He hits like a truck. He's like a 135 pounder. Great wrestler, great striking. I hope to see him get into it. Um, Other than that, we got our guys. We got Meadow. We got Polson. We got Easley. We got a lot of
Awesome.
great teammates.
So, I mean, you talked about Morrow, and then even Shaden Polson, he's shown some pretty good striking in his uh, fights that he's had so far. Is that something that you kind of been focusing on a little bit more this camp, or are you sticking straight with your wrestling? Or, I mean, without going into too much detail for your game plan here.
I have been working on my striking a lot because I'm gonna give credit where credit's due to Henderson. For him, it takes one shot. Um, he's only got the one shot, but he's landed it in 3 fights in a row. He's gotten the TKO, the KO, 3 fights in a row. So I've been working to get ready for those one shots that he throws. I gotta be able to compete with him on the feet. He's a stud. He's got one shot power. But it's going to take him landing that one shot, and that's what I've been focusing on is making sure he doesn't.
Awesome. So, how are you feeling coming into this camp about your weight and your confidence levels and everything? How are you feeling right now?
Oh, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. It's been a long, long camp. I started camp in March because we're slated to fight in May, um, and then that fell through. John was a hero, broke up a dog fight, pretty cool, and ended up injuring himself. But we got rescheduled. So it's been a long camp. The burnout's a little bit real, but my cardio is better than it's ever been. I'm stronger than I've ever. No, that's not true. I was stronger at 340, but I'm pretty strong. Um, I'm feeling great. My weight's down. It was going to be a gnarly cut last time. I was looking at about around 26-pound cut. Last time, now we're looking around 20, 22-pound cut, so it's not too bad. Um, yeah.
So it seems that you kind of understand Henderson's game plan here, or more or less. Do you think? Let's see. Do you think he's gonna really be showing you much more than he's shown in his previous few fights? Are you expecting like, I mean, of course they're always going to be improving for the next version, but are you expecting anything like dramatic, like flying triangles or?
Honestly, so what I expect out of Henderson, um, he's he's done great throwing his hands and landing them. Uh, you saw little flashes at the beginning of his last fight where he started really getting throwing some feints, and I'm willing to bet he's been keeping working that. Um, the way I think about it, when you fight, your training goes back about 6 months. You step in the cage and your brain reverts to about 6 months ago. So I feel like if he was getting really good at throwing feints in camp for his last fight, then he's going to be able to actually pull it off pretty well here. I'm just ready to play a lot of defense. I know he's a good pressure guy. I anticipated he's going to bring that same pressure. I'm willing to bet he's worked on a sprawl and brawl a little bit. I don't think he's done too much ground game, too much jiu-jitsu. He hasn't needed to. He's had 3 fights. He's done great. But I think he's going to be looking for that one big shot, and he's going to be looking to stand on his feet.
Awesome. So, assuming you come away with the win from this fight, what's your fighting career looking like, and just your goals with all this fighting and stuff in general?
I am a terrible fighter. Right now, I am so garbage. So I want to get really good before I even start considering, a career. Even start considering pro. I want to get good. I want to take my time. I believe I believe I've got a good body, good base, good power. But I'm not good at boxing. I'm not good at Muay Thai. I'm okay at wrestling, and I'm terrible at jiu-jitsu. I want to get really good before I pursue a career.
Okay. So right now it's just mostly sticking around as a hobby.
Yeah, well, I treat it. I'm doing it. Well, I'm doing it a lot. I'd say I put in, you know, 4 hours a day, every day outside of camp. So it's, yeah, I guess it is a hobby. I'm not making any money from it, but it is, it's still my life. I love it.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, that's the I'm kind of in the same boat there where up until my 6th fight when I kind of had my own gym and was training all day every day, I still considered it a hobby. And then at some point I was like, all right, I should probably stop saying it's a hobby. So kind of that same like it is a hobby, but at the same time it's not because it's kind of your lifestyle at the same time. Um,
Yeah.
so are you just planning on you're gonna stick around in amateurs and hoping for a long title reign there?
I don't know about a long title reign. I want to fight real good guys. Um, I want to. I'm not saying I want to get beat, but I want to be pushed by someone that can beat me. Um, I'm not going to assume that I'm going to win this fight. It's going to be a fight. And, anything can happen. It's MMA. Um, I want to. I want to stick around in amateurs till I'm good. I might feel like that I'm good after 2 fights. I might feel like I'm good after 2 years. But I want to get good before I really start going into it as a pro.
As far as your jujitsu and striking and stuff goes, have you shown any interest or thought about competing in Muay Thai bouts or jujitsu competitions and stuff like that, just to get some more well-rounded experience?
That's a great question. I've thought about it a lot. I haven't talked about it with my team. I've thought about it. The big problem is, I don't know if you're aware, but a year of MMA costs about $180. A tournament of jiu-jitsu costs about $180. So it's tough to justify, but
Oh yeah,
I would consider it.
awesome. And then all right, so now I mean, guess the mic is yours. Any friends and family you want to thank? Any messages you want to share or anything?
Yeah. You know, August 11th, I fight John Henderson for the middleweight amateur title. Um, Big shout out to my sponsors, MacFit Personal Training, Import Auto here in Logan, Live Fit Gym. Uh, Cache Valley Martial Arts is taking over. John Henderson better be ready because I'm bringing my best.
Awesome. And Yeah, we definitely look forward to seeing you in this competition. It was great being able to talk with you.
Thanks, Arian.
Yep, I will see you around, man. See you.